All right, Dirt Dauber friends, here we are with another day of painting, which I do not love painting, to be honest with you guys. It's a necessity because it's so expensive. I decided to paint myself just because, you know, to get a paint job on something like this would be, to do a good job would be $4,000 or $5,000. And I'm doing it myself for probably about 700 bucks. That's what it's costing me for all the materials. A lot of it's manual labor. And I don't like setting this all up, spraying, cleaning everything. I mean, it's a long process. But anyways, it just means one step closer to getting this thing done. So here's what I'm doing. I've got the window shield frame here, and I've got the garage door. If you know, not the garage door, the gas door. If you remember from one of my earlier videos, I think I had 2 whole videos where I spent putting this thing on, checking the gaps for how it closes. I mean, it was like, I probably spent 2 whole days, 2 8-hour days, so 16 hours total, getting this little door where it will fit in the tub and have a nice, pretty even seam all the way around. Took some grinding and some cutting and some welding, and then just a tiny bit, there was a little bit of some pittedness in the bottom and right here from rust. So I put a tiny bit of filler on there just to smooth that out. And then had the same thing here. There was a tiny bit of pitting right here. And so there was actually, I believe it was this side right here, had a couple little pinholes. And so what I did was I welded kind of around the little pinhole to find good metal till I got a good solid, you know, circle. And then I started welding on top of those welds, and I filled in a couple pinholes here and then just did a little bit of filler. So this is not, you know, obviously if this was a Pebble Beach concourse restoration, probably would cut out this corner right here and replace it. But it was, since it was just a couple little holes, I did it that way. And that, you know, that's gonna last another 10, 15, 20 years probably. And I can deal with it at that point. Today it's about 50 degrees outside, which is a little bit cold. So I brought my propane heater in here, which I'm actually gonna cut it off. I'd heard that if you use these actually while you're painting, you can get fish eyes in your paint. So anyways, cut it off. I heated it up. It's probably 75 degrees in here now, maybe 80 inside my garage. And that's gonna make the paint just adhere a little better, dry a little faster. 50 degrees, or it's actually probably 55 out now. That's warm enough to paint from what I've read. But you know, having it a little warmer in here is just gonna make it even better. The good thing is it's winter, so the humidity is really low. So I got it about 75, 80 degrees in the garage. Humidity is way down, probably 20%. So it's nice and dry, warm air. Got my stuff right here that I'm going to mix my epoxy primer. Got this stuff off Amazon, and this is my 2nd gallon. I did the whole tub with this, and I'm actually really pleased. It goes on really well. I read online it has good reviews, and I do 4-to-1. You can see my notes here, 4-to-1 with this activator, which comes with it, and then just a splash of reducer, just to thin it out just a tiny bit. Got my respirator, got my gun and everything ready. So let me go, before I spray this, let me go outside and show you what else I'm gonna do while I've got the paint out. The reason I'm doing this today is, 1, it needs to be done. Number 2, I've got somebody coming probably this week with the glass. He's gonna fill that with the glass. I ordered a seal, a Toyota actual OEM seal, and he's gonna put the glass in that. And he's also gonna put glass in my FJ55, which I was surprised. The glass in the 40 is flat, and you'd think that, you know, would be cheaper, but that one's actually a little bit more than the windshield that was in my, getting put in the 55. So the windshield in the 55 out here, as you can see, is not flat. See if I can go from this way. It's got an arc. It's got an arc to it. Where's my hand? There we go. It's got an arc to it. So, but this one was actually a little bit cheaper. And what I did, I'll let you guys in on a little secret, is I called around and I found a wholesale glass supplier. I called them to try to get them to sell me the glass. And they couldn't sell it to me because I don't have a license and all that. But they gave me the name of one of their installers, and he's just a kind of a, you know, a mom and pop, his own business. And so he is buying the glass there, going to come and put it in for me. And I got a crazy deal. Most of these online, like if you just look online for a FJ55 glass, the glass I've seen it, you know, $500 just for the glass. Now I already did have the seal when I bought this. The guy I bought it from gave me the seal. I need to double check and make sure it's the right one, but I already had the seal. He's going to put the window in for me for $200. So he's going to come to my house, install the window for $200, and he's basically doing the same thing for the 40. It's like the 40 is like $220, and I had to buy an OEM Toyota seal. I could have bought the off-brand, which was like $70 or $60, but I found an OEM one for $100, and I just figured, you know, whenever I can get OEM stuff and it's not, you know, twice as much or 3 times as much, I figured that's something that maybe an OEM would fit better and be nice to have. So anyways, what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I've sanded this down and it's got some surface rust. But I'm going to spray this. I'm going to spray this whole seal all the way around the car, all the way around the 55. I already got my cardboard here as a backing. I'm going to spray this whole seal all the way around with epoxy primer to seal it in, to lock in, you know, cover that rust, that surface rust, and seal it. Because once they put the window in there and they put that seal in here, obviously I'd have to take the window back out to get in here. The good news is there's no rust through. This is all just surface rust. So I'm going to seal it with the epoxy primer. Then down at the bottom here, where it's this Olympia white or Wimbledon white, which is really more like a cream color, I've got a can of that from Duplicolor. So I'm going to spray just like about 1 inch all the way around here at the bottom. So again, when I put the window seal in, it's painted up, you know, it's been painted underneath it, and it'll look better not having, you know, primer or something under there. And then up at the top, this FJ40 is actually, 55 is actually the same color as my 40. It's this sky blue color. And so since I'm painting the window frame in there, I'm going to go ahead and up here, I'm going to just spray some blue right here. Maybe tape it right here, but not worry so much about up here at the top. So again, down the road, when I get ready to paint this thing, I've got a nice transition and not a line underneath the seal. So I would love to take this thing and have it sandblasted and start from scratch and do everything that I did on the 40. But my goals for this one is different. My goal for this one is not to, you know, go off the frame with it and sandblast it down to bare metal and start from scratch. My plan for this one is to get it back on the road and do things right. You know, the top obviously needs to be painted. The paint is completely wore off. This is where I put some sealer, some of that rust converter one time, just to see what it would do. And there is rust in it, so you know, down here at the bottom, I gotta replace that. I'm actually gonna replace this whole fender, I think. No, this fender's the good one. This fender over here has been crunched up, and I've got a fender in the back. So I'm gonna replace both of these aprons since they're crunched up. Both this apron, driver's side and passenger side, are both, he hit some kind of rock or something in this at some point going off-road. So I've got replacements for those. I'm going to paint those that Wimbledon white. I'm probably going to go ahead and paint these, but I'm not going to sandblast them, you know, mud them, do all that, make them look brand new. I'm probably just going to sand them down, clean them up, shoot them with paint. Mostly because there's a lot of spots on them that the paint is just gone. Like if you look at this rocker panel down here, the paint is just gone. And if I don't do something, it's gonna just keep rusting. So I know I could go get like that faded blue paint and try to match it so it looks old. But honestly, I'm not 100% sure that all of that blue paint is original, because it's obviously at some point, you can see back here, it's had some body work done. That is Bondo. And so I don't know if it's just this back corner. I'll fix this rust here before I paint it. I'll get a stud, you know, a body stud puller and pull these out the best I can. Depending on what they look like, I may put a thin coat of body filler on those back corners just to clean them up if they look, you know, all dimpled and stuff from trying to pull them out. But goal is to pull them out, get them close to where they would normally be. This one over here, I think, is pretty much the same. Yeah, see, it's got a little dent, so I'll bang that out. But probably, you know, probably won't do filler. I mean, again, my goal is not to get this thing smooth, but to get it decent and get it on the road. If you've watched my other videos, you know inside of here is a ton of parts. So pretty much as soon as I get that 40 on the road, I can give a little attention to this one and probably get this one on the road pretty quick. And this is going to be my one that I just enjoy and take off road and camp in it and all that. My 40 will be more to enjoy and drive to and take off road, but I'll be a little bit more careful with this one just because so much work has gone into it and the paint is so much nicer. So I'm not worried about scratching this. I'm going to use it, enjoy it, all that. But the 55, I definitely won't worry about, you know, going through tree branches and all that. So going to spray the windshield frame and the gas filler door. I'm going to spray this 55. I may get someone to film it for me so you can see a little bit of that, but you guys know what it looks like to paint. So once I paint first coat, I'll come back on, show you what it looks like. Then I'll show you kind of the next finished projects, how that goes as I go through each step. All right.